What's up, everyone? It's Matt Mrozik, and this will be work in progress number 4 on the Hell Boy. Should be a fairly short video because what I'm doing is I'm just showing. Sorry, one second. I gotta get rid of all of my chat windows. Everyone's trying to chat with me. I'm gonna show you one reason why I take so long. Again, as far as figures go, I've only been doing this for about a year and a half. Doing mechs for a lot longer, and I don't know what other painters do on kits like this, but this is what I do. So I posted a video and pictures of him all primed up last night. Well, this is where I am right now. So after that first round of primer, I go through and I sand everything with a super fine sanding sponge from 3M. And I've already sanded the kit before this, did my putty work, did all that stuff, and I primed it last night with the Stynylrez. And I gotta say, Stynylrez primer sands very well. It's not labeled as a sandable primer, but it sands very easily. And what the sanding does is it shows me where there's areas that need work. So like down here, you can see all this kind of marbling effect. Well, the way I do it, I go through and I sand that out. I'm not sure if others in it, so it looks like that. So most of this primer will get sanded off. Other areas where I don't go through real easily, like on the shoulders here, it's nice and smooth, nothing popped out, no trouble areas. So, but anywhere I get this like little marbling effect, this is a result from the original sculpting and then into the casting. I try to get as much of that out as possible, unless it's part of the sculpt. In this case, it's not. His skin is supposed to be smooth from everything that I've seen. Little areas like this, I try to get out also. Now, he does have some veins and stuff going through, and I avoid those as much as possible simply because I don't want to sand those away. But this is one reason why it takes me so long to do a kit. It's the prep work. So I mean, I sand all those little trouble areas out, so in the end you have the smoothest possible paint job. So I've already been sanding for about an hour on this guy, and I'm about done. His torso is just about there. Like the tail is a very good example. Let me take it out. This was covered in primer 20 minutes ago, and now all the primer is gone because the tail had a bunch of imperfections in it, and now they're all gone. There's a seam line that I did not notice until I put primer on it. It's gone. So again, I'm learning as far as like figure commissions and pricing and stuff. So this is kind of my process. So like I'm doing the horns right now, and I think you kind of see this like irregular shape here in the primer. Well, that's an indentation in the resin. You know, if this resin was smooth, that wouldn't be there. So I sand that out. I sand this until it's smooth. And this is just how I paint. This is me with, let's see, I'm 42 now. Started painting cars when I was 17, so 25 years of painting experience. I started out painting old Thunderbirds, 55, 56, and 57 Thunderbirds. And when you do body work, this is what you do. You sand it till all those imperfections are out. Otherwise, it's going to show through to your final paint job. So like even these horns, which they look perfectly smooth with the primer on there, but as soon as I start sanding, all those little imperfections pop out. So I go through and get out as much of that as I can. I would say most of the time I get 99% of everything. You know, every once in a while I'll miss something, but I do my best to get all those little imperfections out. So lots of sanding. This kit is very good, and after I do this first round of sanding, he'll just need one more final coat of primer, and then his skin will be ready for paint. So I can tell right now just from what I have been sanding that I won't need to prime and sand again. In a lot of cases, the Punisher versus Walking Dead kit is a prime example. So I'm doing another one as a commission right now, and I'm really open about my prices. I'm charging the guy $1,100 because it takes so much prep work to get him ready, and I don't know if I want to do any more. I've had 2 other people ask me to do that kit, and I think, I don't know, I'd have to be a while before I touch another one. I mean, I think it's a good kit. I think it looks good. It just takes a lot of work. I don't know if I have it in me to do another one like this year or the beginning of next year, just because I've done mine and then I'm doing a second one. But yeah, so this is my process. Sand all the imperfections out, until he's smooth. Now, if this was supposed to be part of the sculpt, like, you know, his skin had a texture to it, I wouldn't worry about it, but it's not supposed to. There's nothing sculpted in his skin that's supposed to be like a texture to it. So, and you deal with this, more stuff like this, when it's a hand sculpt and then it's casted. Again, the Punisher is an exception. It was a digital print, but a lot of times you get these digital, digital sculpting is like king now. They do a digital sculpt and they print it and then they cast it. If they clean the print correctly and the caster knows what he's doing, you can basically get a kit that's ready for a lot. Well, most of them, the high-end ones, come primed from the factory. Like my Captain came primed from the factory. The Spider-Man I just got came primed from the factory. Thor came primed from the factory. Most times those are ready to paint right out of the box. From my limited experience, like I mentioned, my Captain I thought was ready to paint. Then I saw a little seam line under the armpit, which no one would ever see, but I know it's there, so I took care of it. It's like, I'd rather spend an extra 15-20 minutes taking care of that little seam line, knowing that I took care of it, than, even though it's never going to be seen, knowing that it's still there. So this is just me and my anal retentiveness as far as prep work. See right there in that horn, you can see, I think you can see that the seam line popped out. I didn't see it there till just now. I didn't see it. You couldn't see it in the primer, but it was there. So I'd rather take the extra time to do this sanding right here, and then later paint it and be done, and then have that pop out later, because paint does shrink over time. Paint and top coat will shrink, so it's imperative that you get your prep work as perfect as possible. That way later, a year down the road, when the client's looking at the kit he paid you however much to paint, and the seam line pops out, it's like, well, where'd that come from? It's like, well, I didn't see it. I primed it. It didn't say, well, primer and paint shrinks over time, so it might show through in a year. So if you take care of it right at the beginning, you don't have to worry about it. So that's all this video is about. It's just the sanding. Once I get done sanding, I'll throw a nice even coat of Mr. Surfacer 1000 on him, and I anticipate him being ready for paint after that step. So anyway, just a little video on my process on prep, and that's it. As always, thanks for watching. It's Matt Mrozik. Catch you guys next time.